So Damien was a real piece of work, and the hideous things that he did to his victims, I almost don't even want to talk about. But the reason these chilling tales are here is so that we can gain perspective, so that we can be cautiously prepared for individuals such as this. He's one of those guys who you just wouldn't have guessed this from. And what he did to his girlfriend at the end of this story, I'll tell you, was absolutely heinous. Oh, sometimes you just gotta laugh the horror away. Some things are just so chilling you have to laugh it off. You ever get that? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. So this incident, or incidents rather, took place in my home state of Michigan, of all places. Damien was just one of those guys who stuck to himself, an introvert. He actually did okay with women in his early years. He didn't go to college. He ended up working for a factory. Then he ended up working a sales job for an electronics dealer. This is in the early 2010s. I don't want to name the name of the place, but you guys probably all know it. So he had a small house in the nook of a woods in Manistee, Michigan, near the big national forest, as far as you can see, just wilderness. Of course, there were bears rummaging that forest, one of which he attained a bit of a friendship, if you will, with. I'll get into that in just a minute. So he inherited this small house. His parents died. His parents were divorced. His mom moved across the country. His dad had the house still. His dad died of cancer. Damien was 30 years old. He inherits the house. The house was paid for. The parents were good with the money. So Damien realized he didn't really have to make that much money. Okay? He didn't have to work all that hard to enjoy himself. So all he really wanted was a place to stay, good food to eat, video games to play, and women to have. And that's what he got. So he worked for this electronics dealer. It was back toward the city, about a 30-minute drive from his secluded house. He didn't want to work full-time. He got like a 20, 30-hour-a-week job. He was a sales associate, working under a specific manager, whom which Damien hated. Damien busted his butt selling these credit card apps, selling services for the electronics and computers and everything else. And this boss, who wasn't the highest up in the chain, he was just a regional manager in the store, started getting on Damien's case. Damien, did you not talk to that customer? Did you not offer them our credit card? Is what this guy would say. Now, Damien was the top in his region in getting customers to sign up for the credit card. So it was obvious that this boss just didn't like him. I don't know if he saw him as a threat or something, but of course, as mentioned, Damien didn't really want to move up. He just wanted to work a basic job, so he wasn't looking to compete with the manager and get the damn job. So this boss would get on his nerves to no avail. Okay? Damien, I didn't hear you offer the credit card to so-and-so. And of course, Damien did. Unbelievable. So one horrific evening, something happened to this boss. Oh, so going back to the bear. So in this Manistee National Forest, Damien, when he inherited the house from his parents, he took notice of the bears. And as mentioned, he was an introverted guy, kind of lonely, liked animals, didn't have any pets of his own. But lo and behold, he discovered a cub bear whose mother was shot. Okay? There were hunters in the area. They do the thing with tick hounds or whatever you call them. They'd chase the bear up the tree. They'd shoot it out of the tree. They'd turn it into beef jerky or whatever the hell you call it. And sometimes the cubs would scatter and they wouldn't get the damn cubs. So Damien took notice to this event that happened near his home, and he heard a little baby cub crying for its mom. So he goes outside. Here's the thing. The next day, the same thing, crying for its mom. The next day, it's in the same damn tree. So Damien attains it. It doesn't put up much of a fight. Damien grabs it. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. It's okay. I'll take care of it. You could tell it was malnourished. So Damien chains it up outside and feeds it. Gives it water, feeds it, cuddles with it, you know. Helps clear it of ticks and things like that. It didn't take long for this black bear cub to start growing up. Just a year or two and the damn thing was almost full grown. Husky bear. And it ate Damien's leftovers. This thing was big. You ever go on YouTube and see those big bears, those big black bears? These things are like 500-600 pounds for a black bear. It's unbelievable. This was a big husky bear, okay? Damien fed it all sorts of meat. Damien had chickens. He'd feed it the chicken eggs. He tried to get it all its nutrients, and he probably did a pretty good job, maybe a bit overfed. Now, the authorities in the region caught him a couple times having this bear around his house chained up, and they required him to release it. So what he did is he ended up taking it down to his basement. And then the authorities left him alone. He said that it got away, went into the woods, this and that. The bear's gone. They didn't search his house or anything, didn't make much of a deal out of it. And that was that. Fast forward about 6 months later. Damien has this bear chained up in his basement. He feeds it every day. Damien's an introvert. He's sitting there playing video games all the time with his bear in the basement. And then he goes off to his job about 30 hours a week. Comes home, feeds the bear. The bear goes potty downstairs every day. He takes it up and he goes and throws it in the backyard. Okay? Has basically a little litter box down there for this bear. Now, his basement was like a dungeon. Cement floor, cement walls. And that's how he drilled the holes into the floor to put it on an anchor. He screwed it in there, put some cement in there, and then had a big chain, about I think it was a 15-foot chain, and a metal collar on the bear's neck, and he'd just chain it to the bear's neck. So the bear was chained down there, about a 30-foot parameter it could walk around with that chain. One day, Damien decided he was going to quit his job. That damn boss pissed him off so much. Damien ended up finding out where this guy lives. Now, this boss recently had a child. He was married. I think the guy was 28 years old. Damien started stalking this guy. He had it in his mind that he was going to snatch the little baby of this guy. This guy would go on walks in a park not too far from where their work was. Sometimes with his wife, sometimes just by himself and the baby in the stroller. Damien imagined himself running up to this guy, grabbing the baby out of the stroller and slamming it against the cement. Just throwing it, slamming it, stomping on it, probably to death. He just was entertained by the horror such an act could instill in this guy whom he hated. Damien saw the baby as a weakness for the guy, which I think is why Damien never had any kids. He knew that they were a weakness, you know? And he just hated this guy's guts so much that he wanted to do something heinous like that to the child. But he ended up not. What he ended up doing was he went to this guy. He knew where he lived. He followed him home one time, and he knew where this guy lived. He was on Facebook and everything. All the information was out there. Damien knew the guy's schedule because he worked with him, so he waited outside the guy's house. When the guy came home late at night, this manager would close the store. So Damien waited outside in his car. When the guy was getting close, Damien got out of his car, waited by his door. The guy parks in the driveway, gets out of the car. Damien sticks him up with a mask on and everything and forces him into his car. Damien cuffs him up, puts a bag on his head, takes him downstairs to his basement. He chains the guy next to the bear. He removes his mask, both of theirs. Damien takes off his mask and he takes off the guy's mask. Says all sorts of nasty things to him, I'm sure. Kicks him in the face, starts kicking his teeth in. This guy's now chained to the floor just like the bear is. The bear's kind of ignoring the situation. It's just hesitant, just not even really watching it, while Damien is just beating the hell out of this man. Okay? Yeah, it's horrid. It's disgusting. But again, these stories are here so that we can gain perspective, okay? Sometimes things just aren't what they seem. Sometimes people aren't who you think they are. Sometimes things just go bad. And that's what happened here. So Damien's kicking the hell out of this guy, stomping him out on the ground. The guy's moaning, groaning. Damien's cursing at him, saying he's going to go kill his baby, kill his wife, this and that. Damien's just beating the hell out of him. I don't want to say a bad word. The guy's begging him and begging him. Damien starts spitting blood in the guy's face, and this bear's just standing there watching it. And then Damien leaves the guy alone. He doesn't want to kill him. He wants the guy to live so he can torture him more. The bear doesn't want anything to do with this guy. It's like the bear knew that it was witnessing violence. I don't know why. Maybe it was too well fed. I think Damien was its only parent figure. It was its only... So seeing another human for the first time, I think the bear didn't want to hurt it, you know? A human raised it from a cub. It wasn't really going as Damien was planning. Damien wanted the damn bear to eat this guy while he was still alive, and it didn't. So, a day goes by, another day goes by. Damien's watching the news. He knows that this guy's missing, obviously, because he's the one who kidnapped him. The guy's still alive in his damn basement. Damien's getting a little paranoid. The cops aren't, putting anything together as far as Damien knows. Guy's wife's writing the story or in the interview or whatever. She's terrified her husband's gone, doesn't know what happened. The work is freaking out. They need the guy. But Damien kind of feels like he's scot-free on the situation because he didn't really leave any tracks. And I think their situation was a little bit more personal, where not everyone knew how much Damien actually hated this manager. So he wants the bear to eat him. The bear's not eating him. Damien beat the hell out of this guy. This guy's bruised, bloodied, broken arm, a broken jaw, busted teeth, his eyeballs all swollen. Damien considers drilling out his eyeballs. Damien gets his drill ready with one of those little a paddle bit, It's like a bit that can drill a big hole like this big, depending on how big the bit is. So Damien wanted to put this guy's skull in a vise and start drilling out his eyeballs just to torture him more. But then he thought, well, wait, I want him to be able to watch what I do. I want him to be able to see what I do with his baby, for example. Fortunately, he didn't ever do anything with the baby, okay? Just letting you guys know. He never got this guy's baby. He never got the guy's wife. He never drilled out his frickin' eyeballs. He just kicked the hell out of him and was considering. He decides to not feed the bear. A week goes by. This man is pissing and crapping all over the floor. The man's, it's sort of, what's it called when your blood it coagulates or something? I don't know. Coagulate, I can't remember what you call it. But, his wounds healed up a little bit. They were still all red and cut, but they weren't bleeding. And this was like a week later. And the guy reached a state of euphoric insaneness or something. The guy was tripping out. The guy was hallucinating. Wasn't being fed, wasn't given any water. He was just terrified what was going to happen to him. He was 100% convinced that Damien was going to get his baby, get his wife, and do whatever to them in front of him. So the bear's not eating. Another half week goes by, and the bear starts eyeing this guy. Damien gets that Sweet Baby Ray sauce or whatever, and he starts rubbing it on this guy's body, and lo and behold, the bear starts eating him. Starts licking his legs. The guy's just moaning, and the bear's licking his legs, and it starts chewing on him. The guy's chained against the wall. Damien sits him in the corner, forces him in the corner where he's sitting up like this, chained up. He can't move. And this bear begins eating him alive. That's just a thing with black bears. For those of you who watch my channel, you know it. It's often the case where black bears eat their victims while they're still alive. They're very opportunistic animals, all right? They're not like grizzlies where most attacks, they're just being startled, they're protecting their cubs. Maybe in some instances, they're really hungry, it's before hibernation. A black bear, if you're weak, if you're feeble, if you're on the ground, out of it, he's going to eat you. They have a greater variety in diet. They go through garbage. You don't see grizzlies digging through garbage nearly as frequently as you see black bears. Very opportunistic, kind of like a raccoon or something, where they'll eat something if they can. Damien watches this man's consciousness fade into oblivion. The guy's slowly bleeding, the black bear's chewing on his thigh, getting down to the bone, just eating him like he's a chicken drumstick or something, It's nothing fierce, it's nothing aggressive, just sort of eating him like he's just a piece of chicken that Damien gave him. And the guy's moaning, blood coming out of his mouth, drool coming out of his mouth, and he fades into death. Over the next couple weeks, Damien lets the bear eat him, and that's all Damien lets him have. So the bear ends up chewing on his bones. It ends up eating most of this guy's bones and shats them out. So the shat with bones, if you guys have a dog, you'd know it, that it turns into some sort of white dust, and it's in their scat. So the bear eats most of this man. His skull is there, part of his rib cage is still there. His bigger bones, like the femur or whatever on the leg, they're still there. But most of it is eaten, crumpled up, and the bear shat this guy out. That's just what Damien wanted. So the remainder of the bones, Damien just buried in the backyard. But the bear was still hungry. Now, what happened next is horrifying, and I'm not going to get into that many details, okay? But Damien was seeing a girl during this time. This little redhead chick, cute little thing with a disorder. I don't know if I want to say it. I mean, it was the one where you get moods where you swing one way for 6 months and you swing the other way for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? That disorder. Chick had it. She didn't take medication for it, but everybody knew that she had it. Even her grandma knew that she had it. But cute little chick, reddish hair. She'd dye her hair. She'd work out. She lost some weight after high school. Nice pale skin. Beautiful, I think they were hazel eyes. I can't remember. I was looking into this story. I almost wanted to stop reading it. But, and looking into the details, doing my diligent research, this girl had a tendency of leaving her boyfriend. She had, I don't know how many men rammed through her by the time she was 27 years old. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but it was a lot. We're talking like 30, 40 men. So Damien was no exception. She ends up leaving him for some old little short dude that she knew back from California or whatever. Some little short guy. Damien was a tall guy, kind of like me, muscular. I think the girl, obviously she was delusional, but she went back to the short guy that she saw some years ago, who's a lot younger than her, actually. The guy was like 19 years old at the time. So maybe that should raise an eyebrow, but she ended up going with that guy, flew over there, quit her job, everything, and ended up somehow they both came back to Michigan. And that's where Damien stepped in. As heinous as it sounds. I can't recall how he got them. He must have been planning on dying because he wasn't careful with it like he was with his boss. Now, mind you, this was a couple months later after the boss incident. And they never found him, never looked into the case, never questioned Damien. Damien quit the job before he did it. And that was that. He got away with it. But this girl and her boyfriend, he captured them both. And, he wanted the girl to see the bear eat the boyfriend in front of her. Okay? So he had to beat the hell out of this guy. You know, the guy was fighting, like I said, he was kind of a small statured guy. Damien used a skillet and beat him on the head really hard, knocked the guy unconscious with it. And the guy was still trying to fight, twirling, moaning, fidgeting, and Damien beat the hell out of him so hard with this, he almost killed him with a skillet. The guy was unconscious on the ground, just drool coming out of his mouth, barely breathing, but Damien knew he was still alive. The girl wasn't as bad, but I think he shot her in the legs. And she collapsed, she couldn't run away, duct taped her up, and drug them both down to the damn basement. So this is where the fun began in Damien's mind. The bear was now familiar with eating people, so it started gnawing on this boyfriend who was pretty much already dead. You know, Damien wanted to see the guy screaming, struggling, and the girl could watch. He taped her to the frickin' wall against the chain. He had these, I don't know what you call them, those loops or whatever, chained against the wall. They were drilled into it. And he had her taped to those with duct tape. So she had to watch this whole thing play through. And basically the bear just started eating this guy, and the guy didn't even fidget, and he was dead before you knew it. So that was a bit anticlimactic for Damien's preference. The girl, he ended up doing away with her, okay? Maybe I'll tell you guys more about this in a future video. I don't know. I mean, this stuff is heinous. If you will like this video, I mean, let me know if you guys want more stories like this, okay? Because I don't know how far you want me to go with it. Like I said, this stuff is good for perspective. We gotta be prepared. You never know who you're dealing with out there. So like this video, become a patron, subscribe to the page, hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video, become a patron and a channel member. Links in the description below to support the Chilling Tales. So basically what happened is this girl, he didn't end up feeding her to the damn bear. I don't know what it was. I think he thought her body was too beautiful for that or something, but he ended up shooting her. All right, he shot her dead in the basement. What he did is he released the bear. He unchained it. It still had the freaking metal collar on its neck with some chain dangling off. He just cut it with those those metal cutters, whatever you call them, that are made for like master locks and all that. Those heavy cutters. So he cut the bear loose. He escorted it up the stairs of this little dungeon basement of his, and outside, and he let it free. And, to put it lightly, he ended up using that same hand cannon, if you will, to oust himself as well in that house. Now, he did it after outing the girl. The boyfriend was already dead. The bear ate him while he was still alive. Damien dumped gasoline all over the upper floor of the house. It ran down the stairs. It ran all over the woman's body. He might have been still alive a little bit, I'm not sure. He dumped it all over himself, this gasoline, just all over his body, all over his face, all over his hair. He put on a big, thick wool plaid long-sleeve shirt and just soaked the thing in gas. Then upstairs in his living room, he brought the couch together, he brought the chairs together, he just filled just gallons and gallons of gas everywhere. He struck his lighter, lit it all up with the hand cannon in his mouth, and you can guess where it goes from there. So yeah, it was a massive house fire. The area was quarantined off by the fire department. Cops were there. Took forever to put out the damn fire. The house was just a frame at that point. Because like I said, he was out in a secluded area. The house was probably burning for an hour before people showed up. All that was left were the skeletal remains and Damien's skull with a look of despair on his face still. But it was a heinous event, and I've never heard of anything like this. The guy actually captured a bear and used it for his unusual hobbies. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on this heinous story. Like the video if you will. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow with more chilling tales from the Iceman.